Hello, I'm Technical Sergeant Justin Kirk, and this is my organizational culture briefing. Currently, I am a tactical aircraft maintenance technician for the 142nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron in Portland, Oregon. As you may know, aircraft maintenance in any capacity is a high ops tempo career field, and therefore the organizational culture can sometimes take a back seat to the mission. My presentation today is intended to identify the status of the organizational culture in the 142nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron's flight line section. The topics I'll be covering are the current condition of the organizational culture, the impact of the organizational culture, some viable solutions to change the organizational culture, and some ways to maintain and show appreciation for the good aspects of the existing organizational culture. As for the current organizational culture in this flight line section, it has been trending downward for quite some time. Some reasons for that are a lack of trust between members, unconscious biases, mainly towards the younger generation, from members who have been there for a very long time, a lack of members who model what the culture should be, zero commitment to one another, clear expectations for younger airmen are not established in the beginning of their career, and in turn, they're not able to establish expectations for their frontline supervisors. Another major component to the unhealthy culture is an insufficient training program that does not establish a clear path for members to grow and succeed as maintainers. On a lighter note, there are various positive aspects that the shop can build upon to strengthen the culture, but a couple of them really stand out. On-the-job competency and setting clear and compelling direction. This group is the most talented at their trade I have ever been around, and they have the confidence to back it up. And when given the opportunity, they excel at setting expectations and establishing a good direction. Next, I want to get into the impact the current organizational culture has on the people in this section. This unhealthy organizational culture has had a major impact on its people, and it has led to a lack of trust within the section, lack of commitment, no sense of belonging, and feel that their efforts are not appreciated. The ever increasing ops tempo does not allow time for people to create bonds with each other in the workplace. Also, a lack of commitment has other members coming to work, doing their job, and leaving as soon as possible. Also, more qualified members are constantly overtasked because they show competence in their job and additional duties, so they are given more complex tasks, while others are left to focus on the basic daily assignments because the flying schedule always takes priority. This has really led to resentment towards one another from both sides. I believe this section is stuck in the institutional trust and respect section of the hierarchy of trust model by Kamina and Potter. I'll get into this in the next slide. The reason for this is a constant turnover of leadership using the aircraft maintenance squadron as a step stool to another level. This has also led to a lack of confidence in the group, which has created toxic behaviors that inundates everyone in the section. Younger airmen feel betrayed because they are not giving clear guidance, therefore starting them down a path without a direct focus or goal in mind. There's clearly resentment towards the younger members in this section from the people who have been there for a long time. A lot of the older generation are still technicians, and the newer generation are coming in and getting these active guard reserve positions, and I believe that has started to create a toxic work environment for the younger individuals trying to learn a new trade and trying to start a new career. Like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to go into detail on the hierarchy of trust model and kind of point out what I believe where I believe this section is at the moment. So like I mentioned earlier, I believe this section is in the institutional trust and respect section of this model. And I believe they're stuck there right now. And some of the things that really stuck out to me were over here on the right are disappointment. And I believe that disappointment comes from those leaders that keep using them as a step stool to move on. Next are those toxic behaviors which are created between members in the section between the older generation and the younger generation, and then that resentment that is felt between the younger generation or those members that are trying to learn new things every day, and then the members that are stuck doing the heavy lifting, and they just can't seem to meet in the middle, or because time constraints and the flying schedule takes priority always. Next, I want to get into the additional relevant research. Some additional relevant research. So I found an article by Nicole Turner, and the article is titled, "Does Your Organization Have an Unhealthy Culture? 6 Signs That Your Organizational Culture is Toxic." So as you notice here, I don't have all 6 of them, but I pulled just a couple of them that really stuck out to me. And one of them was number 3. This one was completely different than any other research that I could find. Your body tells you so. This one really struck a chord with me because like I said, it was just completely off the wall. Turner describes this as that Sunday evening anxiety you feel when having to go back to work the next day and endure another week. I understand that Monday mornings are no fun for anybody, I believe. But feeling anxious or even nervous to go to work, there's no way that could be healthy for anybody. Next was employees are treated like things and not like people. This happens, it feels like, every single day in this section because people show up to work, they look at a status board and they see their name next to an aircraft number, and that's what they're assigned to for the day, and that at times is the last interaction they'll have with their leadership for the day. And I don't think that's a positive or encouraging way to start your day. So next I want to get into some solutions to encourage change in the culture. I'll start with gaining trust and commitment. I believe frontline supervisors need to take the time to get to know their subordinates on a personal and professional level to gain their trust. Once this happens, progress through that hierarchy of trust model can take place, ultimately leading to the top of that pyramid and having a level of personal trust. Next is combating the unconscious biases in the work center. I believe this section needs to set aside time for open conversations and creating these opportunities for constructive conversations can help break the ice and get people to discuss these biases in an open forum. And next is modeling the culture in your own behaviors and actions to shape the organizational culture. I believe if others see someone modeling the culture with integrity, they're more likely to follow suit. Next is encouragement and appreciation. Simply put, this section must start showing every member more encouragement and appreciation. This is echoed in a quote from the Harvard Business Review, and I quote, When employees feel empowered to succeed and believe that the goals of the company are aligned with their own, they'll work harder and smarter." End quote. O'Hara 2021. This is especially important when gaining a new hire or a brand new airman. The expectation needs to be clear and precise, and they need to be empowered to succeed. Finally, a proper training program needs to be set in place where knowledge can be shared and distributed to everyone in the section. Training down days need to be taken advantage of and not looked at as an extra day for maintenance to be caught up on. Also, subject matter experts need to be assigned trainees so they can guide them to eventually take their place. Because why not leave the section better than when they arrived? So, in conclusion, I went over the current organizational culture in the 142nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron's Flightline section. Also, I went over the impact the organizational culture has on its members. And finally, I went over some necessary actions that can be taken to strengthen the organizational culture and also to just maintain those positive aspects of that organizational culture. All right. Thank you for your time. Take care. Bye.